Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum and welcome back in lecture number 19, and this is about the capital budgeting, and here we have a summary of our previous lecture. So in our previous lecture we covered following topics, that is capital budgeting and steps involved in capital budgeting process. हमने इनको डिटेल में डिस्कस किया था, और how the process starts and how the proposals is travel from one end to the board of governors, and also the procedures to generate long term project proposals within the firm के प्रपोज़ल की नेचर के मुताबिक अगर उसमें कैश आउटले बहुत ज़्यादा है और इन्वेस्टमेंट उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा है तो अकॉर्डिंगली द स्टेप्स इन्वॉल्व विल बी मोर एंड मोर. लाइक अगर इन्वेस्टमेंट छोटे साइज़ की है तो सेक्शन चीफ या ऑपरेशंस चीफ जो हैं वो उसको डिसाइड कर लेंगे, बट अगर उसमें कैश आउटले ह्यूज है तो इन दैट केस द प्रपोजल वुड ट्रेवल ऑल द वे टू द बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स जो उसकी फाइनल अप्रूवल देंगे. एंड why cash flows, not the income flows, are the most relevant to capital budgeting decisions. हमने इसको डिस्कस किया था कि कैश फ्लोज जो हैं दे आर द मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ द प्रपोज्ड प्रोजेक्ट्स, क्योंकि इनकम्स जो हैं दे मे बी इन माइनस और दे मे बी अ प्लस, लेकिन जो कैश आउटफ्लोज हैं वी शुड बी कंसर्न विद दैट कि हम उसमें डेप्रिसिएशन है जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल उसको ऐड बैक कर सकते हैं टू चेंज द नेट cash flows or any increase into our cash flows. And then we discussed the concept of sunk cost and opportunity cost, and sunk cost has nothing to do with the proposed cost of the project. अगर project for example किसी वजह से उसको implement नहीं किया जा सका या जो उसको replace कर दिए गए with some new proposal, तो जो any cost which was related to that first proposal which was abandoned, so that cost is in fact a sunk cost. We don't add into the next proposal. और उसी तरह से जो opportunity cost है, opportunity cost we do add in our proposals. हम अपने कैश इनफ्लोज और आउटफ्लोज में अपॉर्चुनिटी कास्ट को अकोमोडेट करते हैं, क्योंकि जब भी कोई प्लांट फॉर एग्जांपल किसी जगह पे इंस्टॉल किया जाएगा तो दैट प्लेस और दैट building or at that location could be used for any productive purpose as well. तो उसके against जो benefits हो सकते थे, those benefits they are called opportunity cost, and we have to add that into our considerations. And then tax considerations as well as depreciation for tax purposes affects capital budgeting cash flows. जो फॉर टैक्स पर्पसेस हम जो डेप्रिसिएट करते हैं एसेट को, और उसकी डेप्रिसिएबल बेसिस जो है वो हम किस तरह से फाइंड आउट करते हैं. एक तो है कास्ट ऑफ द एसेट, बट एंड देन देयर आर सर्टेन कास्ट अटैच टू इट, वी कॉल देम कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर. सो द ऑल दीज कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर्स दे मेक द कास्ट ऑफ द एसेट. अब हम इस एसेट की कास्ट को जिसके अंदर कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर भी हैं उसको डेप्रिसिएट करेंगे, और डेप्रिसिएट करने के लिए हमने डिफरेंट मेथड जो यूज़ किए. एक स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड है, बट मोस्ट कॉमनली यूज्ड मेथड इज MACRS, विच इज़ नोन एज मॉडिफाइड एक्सेलरेटेड कॉस्ट रिकवरी सिस्टम. उसमें इनिशियल ईयर्स में डेप्रिसिएशन एक्सपेंस ज़्यादा रिपोर्ट किया जाता है एंड ग्रेजुअली इट इज़ रिड्यूस्ड. और उसमें एक और तरीक़ेकार ये था कि हम उसका जो प्रॉपर्टी क्लासेस हैं अकॉर्डिंगली उनकी जो रेशो है डेप्रिसिएशन की, जो परसेंटेज ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन वो भी हम डिटरमिन करते हैं. और इसके अलावा वी डिटरमिन द इनिशियल इंटरम एंड टर्मिनल पीरियड्स आफ्टर टैक्स इंक्रीमेंटल कैश फ्लोज. उसमें इनिशियल ईयर में कौन से कैश फ्लोज थे, कैश आउटफ्लोज थे इनफैक्ट, और उसके अलावा ड्यूरिंग द पीरियड ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट every year how much was the incremental cash flows for the firm, and then in the terminal year there is an incremental cash inflow or outflow, and then there may be a salvage value and any cost related to it, any tax consideration for that, and and also the net working capital which is also added back into the incremental cash flows. So then we calculate the terminal years incremental cash flows. और इसके साथ हमने दो examples भी इसके साथ सॉल्व की थी. And today also we are going to discuss the second part of this chapter. We are not going to read out anything new, but we are going to have a practice of problems given at the end of the chapter. And the learning outcomes, again, they are the same as we discussed in our previous lecture. That is the process of capital budgeting and all the cash flows and incomes involved into it, and the sunk cost and opportunity cost, the treatment of these costs, and then the tax consideration according to the depreciable basis, and the treatment of the asset at the end of the proposed period. And also we are going to calculate the initial, interim and terminal years incremental cash flows under different problems. So let's have a revision about the previously calculated procedures. For example, the initial cash outflow, how do we calculate it, and incremental cash inflows during the period of the proposed project, and also the terminal year incremental cash flow. So how did we calculate it? Let's have a look into it. Actually these are the previous lecture slides. हम इसको रिवाइज करेंगे और accordingly हम problems को solve करेंगे based on these processes. We'll use these calculations to solve our problems. So first of all, let me remind you that initial cash outflow, as initial cash outflow, there is a cost of the asset involved and any capital expenditure will be added into it, और उसके साथ नेट वर्किंग कैपिटल में जो इंक्रीज होगा दैट विल बी एडेड, और अगर नेट वर्किंग कैपिटल में कोई डिक्रीज हुआ है तो दैट विल बी डिडक्टेड फ्रॉम दैट इनिशियल कैश आउटफ्लो. एंड नेट प्रोसीड्स फ्रॉम द सेल ऑफ ओल्ड एसेट. इसके साथ अगर ये अरेंजमेंट एसेट को रिप्लेस करने के लिए है फॉर एनी एग्जिस्टिंग प्लांट और मशीनरी और एनी एग्जिस्टिंग एसेट, इफ इट इज़ रिप्लेस्ड, तो उसके साथ जो उसकी सेल प्रोसीड्स हैं या सेल्वेज वैल्यू है, so that we minus it out from this calculation because we receive something against an cash outflow. And then अगर इस सेल में कोई capital gain या capital loss है तो the tax consideration will be considered into this calculation. In case of capital gain, tax will be paid, so there will be a cash outflow, and in case of capital loss, a tax shield will be given and it will be deducted from the figures given above. And this is where we are going to calculate the initial cash outflow. And for the incremental cash flows during the period of the project, जिसमें हमने एसेट के साथ जो प्रोसेसेस हमने इम्प्रूव किए हैं या ऑपरेशंस को एनहांस किया है, so for that what are the incremental revenues or savings into the expenses of the firm. So the net increase or decrease in operating revenues less any net increase in the operating expenses. जो net revenues में marginal increase हुआ है उसके against कितना incremental expenses incur हुए, so we take them out. For example, if the net increase is 1000 rupees in the revenues and the increased cost for that 1000 rupees is suppose 200 rupees, so the net revenue which has been added to the firm is 800 rupees. And then the net increase in tax depreciation, इसके साथ जो नया एसेट परचेज किया गया है उसकी जो depreciation है that will be taken out from this cash flow, and that this is where we determine the net change in the income of the firm. अब जो net change है income of the firm की before tax, उस पे जब tax apply किया जाएगा तो we have to take out the amount of tax. It may be 40%, 30% or any given percentage. So we take out the tax and then we calculate the net change in income after tax, and we add back the depreciation to get the incremental cash flows for the period. So this is the procedure to determine the incremental cash flows during the coming periods after the proposed project. And then finally in the terminal year, जब उस प्रोजेक्ट उस एसेट को सेल किया जाएगा तो एट दैट टाइम उसको इंक्रीमेंटल कैश फ्लोज के साथ उसकी जो सेल वैल्यू है दैट विल बी एडेड इनटू द कैश फ्लोज, और उसके ऊपर अगर कोई कैपिटल गेन हुआ है तो देन टैक्स विल बी पेड आउट ऑफ दैट, एंड देन जो नेट वर्किंग कैपिटल में कंपनी ने इन्वेस्ट किया हुआ है दैट विल आल्सो बी एडेड बैक टू द incremental cash flows. So this is where we are going to calculate the terminal year incremental net cash flows, and accordingly we are going to solve the problems based on all these steps. So that's why I just reminded you कि what did we studied in our previous lecture, और उसकी बेस पे हम अपने problems जो है वो solve करेंगे. And another thing you have to keep in mind कि in most of the problems you will be given a depreciation arrangement that using MACRS under 3 years property class, and sometimes you have to use the 5 years property class and sometimes 7 years, and if there are some more complex nature of problems it may be even more than that. और इसमें हमने पिछले लेक्चर में भी डिस्कस किया था कि for a 3 years property class we depreciate it over a period of 4 years, और उसमें half of the life we use the double declining balance method and remaining half we use straight line method. Or accordingly for the in the 5 years property class, first year is for the 6 months. इसमें सारे केसेस में फर्स्ट ईयर we calculate the depreciation for the 6 months, और उस हिसाब से इसका जो depreciation percentage होगी that is calculated 20%, and then for the next year it is 32%, again for the next year it is 19.2%, and now we have reached the half of the life of the asset. अब इसके बाद हमने asset को depreciate करना है using the straight line method, and using the straight line method these are the percentages which are calculated for the next remaining period. So you can see here for a 5 years property class the asset is depleted in 6 years. The first period is 6 months and the last period is 6 months, and the 4 periods in the middle they are for full 1 year, so it makes 5 years. So let's see how do we solve this problem. So this is problem number 1 at the end of the book. So according to the statement given, the initial cash outflow it is equal to the cost of the asset plus any capital expenditure plus any change in the working capital plus or minus any change in the salvage value. So we are not going to replace the asset, so हमने सिर्फ asset को purchase किया था, और इस केस में there is no net working capital and there is no capital expenditure. So the initial cash outflow is $60,000 which is cost of the asset. अब हमने at the second step we have to find out the incremental cash flows for the life of the asset, and as you know, as mentioned in the problem, asset has a useful life of 5 years. So we write down the number of years, and for each year we have a cash flow. So in this case जो cash flow given है they are in fact the cost saving. There is no increased revenue, in fact there is a decrease in the cost, so we take that decrease in the cost as a cash flow. So first of all the cash savings as mentioned in the problem, it is $20,000 annually. For all 5 years it is given as the same figure. And now we have to deduct depreciation expense, and we are using the MACRS system and property class is 3, so we have to depreciate the asset within 4 years. So at the end of the 4th year book value of the asset would become 0, and for this purpose you can recall the percentage of depreciation under the MACRS system for 3 years property class. And let me remind you, for the first year it was 33.33%, and for the second year it was 44.45%. For the third year it is 14.81%, and for the fourth year it is 7.41%. So we apply depreciation on the book value of asset, which is $60,000. So let's see how it goes. We have $60,000 in the asset, the book value of the asset, and first year's depreciation rate is 33.33, and we get a figure of depreciation equal to $19,998. And the second year, when we apply the depreciation rate equal to 44.45, we have a depreciation expense equal to $26,670. So for the sake of clarity, let me put some lines in between here. I'm sorry, lines, they are not straight. And then for the third year, we have a depreciation rate of 14.81%. And a depreciation equal to $8,886. And for the fourth year, for the book value, the initial book value of $60,000, we have 7.41%, and it's equal to 4,446. And here we have a zero depreciation for the last year, because we have depreciated the asset in the first 4 years. And now we see the third part of the incremental cash flow, that is C, which is the net change in income or in profit before tax. So we deduct from the cash savings the depreciation expense, and we get equal to 2, and then a negative figure here will appear, 6,670, and here we have 20,000 minus 8,886. We get 11,114. And for the fourth year, we have 20,000 cost saving minus the depreciation expense. We have 15,554. And for the fifth year, because of zero depreciation expense, we have a figure of 20,000 here. So this is the net change in profit before tax, and tax rate is, as is given here in the problem, is 38%. So what is 38% of all these figures? So if we round the figures, so it will become about 1. It is in fact 0.7 something. So we round it off to the closest digit. So we take it as 1, and then we calculate for 6,670 with 38% tax. The amount of tax would be 6,670 multiplied with 38%. So we have a tax equal to 2,535. So this is in fact a tax shield, because we have a loss here, a negative contribution towards the net profit. So here from a figure of $6,670, there will be a tax shield equal to $2,535. And then we have a positive cash flow, so that is 11,114, and we apply a tax rate of 38% on it to get equal to 4,223. And for 15,554, an interest rate of 38%, we find out 5,911. And for 20,000, a tax of 38% will make it to 7,600. And then at point, this is CDE, and we have F. F would represent net change in profit after tax. AT, after tax. So we deduct from C the tax which is mentioned as E. So we have a figure equal to 1, and for this figure now we have reduced our loss by the tax shield. In the second year, the loss was represented as 6,670. Now because of a tax shield, this loss is reduced to, now this loss has become $4,135. You can see the difference here. अगर कैश फ्लो जो है वो नेगेटिव होता है under any circumstance, so the tax shield will provide a cushion for the firm, और उसका जो net loss है that is reduced by the tax shield here. And then in the next calculation we have net change in the profit after tax. It is equal to 6,891, and in the fourth year it would become 15,554 minus the tax 5,911 equal to 9,643. And for the fifth year we get it equal to 12,400. And this is the amount of net change in the profit after tax. Now we add back the depreciation. So what is the depreciation we calculated at point D? So here we add back this B into F to calculate the incremental cash flow for the firm. And now we have the figure of depreciation 19,998 plus 1 will make it 19,999. And when we add these two figures, what do we get? 26,670 minus a loss of 4,135, and the net cash flow would become equal to 22,535. And in the third year the depreciation will be added back to the net change in the income after tax. That is, depreciation is 8,886 plus the after tax change in profit is 6,891. It becomes equal to 15,777. And for the fourth year we get an amount of 980 and $14,089. And for the final year we have no depreciation to add it back here in the net change in profit after tax, so it will appear as it is. So this is the incremental cash flow we determined at the end of each period in the next 5 years. And in the terminal year, what is the cash for the terminal years? Since we don't have any other expense to mention here, so this is the terminal expense as well. At the end of the 5th year, this cash flow in fact is the terminal year's cash flow. So there is no value for the asset to be sold. For example, in our project, हमने जो asset choose किया था उसकी book value has gone to 0 और उसकी salvage value, as we assumed here in this problem, that there is no salvage value for the asset, and there is no incremental cash flow as far as the sales proceeds of the asset are concerned, and then there is nothing to be mentioned as a net working capital to add it back here. So this is about the net incremental cash flows for these 5 years. And this was the problem number 1. Now let's come to the problem 2. The problem 2, it mentions that in problem 1, suppose that 6% inflation in savings from labor cost is expected over the last 4 years. And so that the savings in the first year are 20,000 and savings in the second year are 21,200, that is 6% increase of inflation, and accordingly every year we will keep on increasing the cost saving by an inflation rate of 6%. And then on the basis of this information, what are the relevant cash flows? Or part B है, if working capital of 10,000 were required in addition to the cost of equipment and this additional investment were needed over the life of the project, what would be the effect on the relevant cash flows? All other things are the same as in problem 2 part A. So here what is different from problem number 1 कि उसमें जो cost saving की figure given थी, that is $20,000 annually, but here the cost saving figure for each year would increase over the next 4 years. Like in the first year the cost saving is 20,000, but it will keep on increasing by 6% during the next 4 years. So let's see how the cash flows they take place. And then before that, the initial cash flows would remain the same, that is $60,000. Okay, so in this example we are going to calculate 3 things. First of all, the initial cash flow, initial cash outflow in fact, and then the incremental cash flows during the period, that is for 5 years, the usage period of the asset, and then finally in the end we have to find out the terminal year's cash flows. And the information provided in problem number 1 is taken as same, except that inflation factor has been introduced and also the working capital of 10,000 has been introduced here. So let's see the initial cash outflow. That is cost of the asset, which is $60,000 plus $10,000 of working capital. But these are not the, but these become at the beginning in fact, because at the beginning the raw materials will also be purchased, some inventories they will be kept into the warehouses, so that initial cash flow will include the working capital as well. So the net working capital at that time introduced is $10,000. So the initial cash outflow becomes $70,000. And now let's see what are the incremental cash flows during the 5 years period of usage of the asset. So we write down number of years. Now the cost, first of all, cost saving, which is a cash inflow. So first year it is $20,000, and the second year it will increase with an inflation factor of 6%. So here we multiply the respective figures with 1.06 to get the impact of inflation. Like 20,000 dollars the initial cash inflow, and next year it will increase by 6%, 1.06, you multiply it and you get 21,200, and this figure again will increase by 6%, so multiply this figure again with 1.06, you will get 22,472, and then multiply it again with 1.06 to get 23,820, and again multiply it with 1.06 to get the final cost saving equal to 25,250. We rounded off the figures to avoid the decimal places here, and out of these cost savings we deduct the depreciation. That is, in our previous slide we calculated those figures, so let's go back and have a look into that. 1,998, 26670, triple 86, 446. And final year there is no value left, so we take it as 0. So the depreciation for the last year is 0 here, and then we get net change in the profit with these figures. Net change, we represent change with this triangle, net change in profit before tax. So we deduct it from here, so I will leave the remaining calculation for you. So you have to calculate the net change in profit before tax. You deduct from A the given figure of depreciation, you will calculate the figures here, that is the net income before tax, then apply a tax of 38%, and the next step, so that 38% will be applied on these figures, and you will write down the tax figures calculated here, and then you will calculate at step E the net change in profit after tax. So here you take C minus D to calculate the net change in profit after tax. So you will calculate these figures, and after that you will add back the depreciation to calculate the net flows. So what is the step F? That add depreciations here plus depreciations. So all the depreciation figures quoted above, you write it down here, and then you will find at the last step, that is the incremental cash flows. You will add up these two figures to get the incremental cash flow figures for all 5 years. So this is the way you calculate the incremental cash flows for the 5 years. But now in the terminal year we have to add some more calculations. For the terminal year, the one of the cash flows you will calculate at this step, you will have to add some more values here. For example, the terminal year's cash flow, we calculate it like this. The one we calculate from our previous slide's calculation, that is at the last step, plus we add back the working capital, that is the $10,000. The amount is given in the problem here, that if working capital of 10,000 were required in addition to the cost of equipment. So initially there was a cash outflow of $10,000, but now we have a cash inflow. So our cash flow will be more when we get the net cash working capital into account. And then because there is no salvage value, so there is no cash received in terms of salvage value. And then because of no capital gain or loss, there is no tax benefit or tax expense. So we have a net terminal value of the cash flow by adding up all these figures, and you have to calculate it by yourself. And this was about the problem number 2. And now we come to the problem number 3 to find out the different calculations. So let's read out what is problem number 3. The city of San Jose must replace a number of its concrete mixer trucks with new trucks. It has received 2 bids and has evaluated closely the performance characteristics of the various trucks. अब इस प्रॉब्लम में फर्म ने अपने ट्रक्स को रिप्लेस करना है, and the firm is going to get bids from different truck companies, and the cash outflows associated with each truck in terms of its cost, its maintenance, its repair, and the fixed costs involved here. So the firm would get quotations from the companies. The first company, that is Rock Built truck, which cost $74,000, is top of the line equipment. The truck has a life of 8 years. So the first truck, which has a life of 8 years, the cost is $74,000, assuming that the engine is rebuilt in the 5th year. And during the process, assume that it is assumed that for 5th year में there should be a huge repair in terms of the engine repair, and then maintenance cost of $2,000 a year are expected in the first 4 years, followed by total maintenance and rebuilding cost of $13,000 in the 5th year. During the last 3 years, maintenance costs are expected to be $4,000 per year. At the end of 8 years, the truck will have an estimated scrap value of $9,000. So during the process, first 4 years, the maintenance cost is $2,000 per year, and then in the 5th year, there is a truck rebuilt, engine rebuild cost also involved here, that is $13,000. So this $13,000 includes the maintenance cost plus the engine rebuild cost. And then after that rebuild, the maintenance cost for the remaining life of the asset, that is for the next 3 years, maintenance expense has gone to $4,000 per year. And at the end, the salvage value of the scrap is $9,000. And the other bid from the Bulldog trucks, the cost of the truck is $59,000, and maintenance cost for the truck will be higher. In the first year, they are expected to be $3,000, and this amount is expected to increase by $1,500 a year through the 8 years. अब इस केस में ट्रक की कास्ट कम है, लेकिन उसकी जो मेंटेनेंस कास्ट है, इट इज़ हायर देन द रॉक बिल्ट ट्रक. And in the previously it was $2,000, but in this truck company it is $3,000, and moreover the maintenance cost is increasing by $1,500 every year. In the 4th year, the engine will need to be rebuilt, and this will cost the company $15,000 in addition to maintenance cost in that year. In that year, a maintenance cost plus this $15,000 engine rebuild cost has to be paid. At the end of 8 years, the Bulldog truck will have an estimated scrap value of $5,000. The salvage value is $5,000. So what is required here? What are the relevant cash flows related to the trucks of each bidder? Ignore tax consideration because the city of San Jose pays no tax, because there is no tax involved there in that city. So you don't consider for the tax. And in part B, using the figures determined in part A, what are the cash flow savings each year that can be obtained by going with the more expensive truck rather than the less expensive one? That is, calculate the periodic cash flow differences between the two cash flow streams. Assume that any net cost saving or positive benefit. So, isme in part A, we are required to make a schedule of cost or cash outflows in terms of Rockville truck and in terms of Bulldog's truck. And in part B, we are going to make a comparison between the quotations or the assumed figures, and we have to see what are the savings every year in terms of in both options. So let's solve for this problem. This is problem number 3, and we have a schedule of 8 years, and we have 2 truck companies. First of all, the Rockville, and the second one is Bulldog. And in part B, actually we are concerned with the cost savings in considering these options. Cost saving, it may be positive or it may be negative. So we have to compare the cash flows for the coming 8 years. That is at times 0 when the cash outflows, and then after that the next 8 years for the remaining life of the trucks. First of all, in case of Rockville, a cash outflow of $74,000 will take place. We represent it with this minus figure, and in case of Bulldog, a cash outflow is equal to $59,000. So the cost saving in terms of Rockville over Bulldog, in this case, in fact, the firm has to pay an extra $16,000 here. And then in the first year, where the maintenance cost for the coming 4 years, it is $2,000 in case of Rockville, and for the coming 4 years it is like this. And in the 5th year, so there is a maintenance engine rebuild cost of $13,000. So the net cost involved here, including the maintenance cost, it will become $15,000. So we put a bracket here because these are the cash outflows. And then in the 6th year, as it is mentioned, the maintenance cost would become double, that is $4,000 for the remaining years. But at the end of the 8th year, the salvage value, it is mentioned here as $9,000. That is, this is a cash outflow, as we know, and that $9,000 is a cash inflow. So $9,000 is a positive figure here, and $4,000 is a negative. So we have a net effect of positive cash flow of $5,000 here. So the $5,000 is a positive cash flow in the last year in case of Rockville. And let's see what is happening under the Bulldog's situation. So for the first year, the maintenance expense will be $3,000. That is $3,000 in the first year, and for every next year, the maintenance expense will be increased by $1,500. So, and it will continue for the 3 years, and then in the 4th year, the truck engine will be rebuilt with a cost of $15,000 plus this maintenance cost. So here for the next year, in the 2nd year, the maintenance cost will become $4,500. We added $1,500 into it. and third year it will become 6,000. And then in the fourth year there is an engine rebuild also. So that engine rebuild cost is equal to 15,000, and plus the maintenance cost for that period, that is 6,000 in the last period plus 1,500 in this fourth year. So it will become 7,500, the maintenance cost, and for 15,000 is engine rebuild cost. So the total cash outflow would become 22,500 in case of Bulldog Truck Company. And for the next year, the cost will become 7,500 plus 1,500 equal to 9,000. And in the sixth year, it will become 10,500. We are adding $1,500 every year in the maintenance cost. And in the seventh year, it will become equal to 12,000. And in the last year, that is 8th year, we have a salvage value of 5,000. So in this case, the final year maintenance would become 13,500. That is 12,000 in the previous year plus 1,500 in this year. So it totals 13,500 and minus the scrap value of 5,000. So what is the net outflow? It would be 8,500. And in the part B of the required the question, that we have to make a comparison in each case. So first of all, at time t0, when the cash outflow is higher in case of Rockbuilt, and in the second year there is a saving, that is a cost saving over Bulldog of $1,000, and in the second year again there is a cost saving of 2,500, and in the third year there is a cost saving of $4,000. As you can see here, in the case of Bulldog, the expenses are higher, whereas in case of Rockbuilt, these expenses are lower. So because of the lower expenses, there is a cost saving involved here. So you can see in the fourth year, a cost saving is very high, that is equal to 20,500. And in the fifth year, there is no cost saving. In fact, because of that engine rebuild, in case of Rockbuilt, there is expenses are more than in the case of Bulldog. So there is an extra cash outflow of 6,000. There is expense is higher. And then again there is a cost saving of 6,500. And in the seventh year there is a cost saving of $8,000. And then in the eighth year, that is the last year, so there is a cost saving of 13,500. So why 13,500? Because in case of Bulldog, there is a negative cash flow of 8,500. So to reach an amount of 5,000, first you have to recover the loss of 8,500, then you have to add 5,000 into it. So it will make a total of 13,500 in this case. So this is the comparison of cost between Rockbuilt and Bulldog. So based on these calculations, the firm will make the proposed plan going for this project or not. That is, this is one of the steps to go into that direction. And this was the problem number 3. And now we'll come to the problem number 4. So let's read out the problem number 4. US Blivet is contemplating the purchase of a more advanced Blivet extrusion machine to replace the machine currently being used in its production process. The firm's production engineers contend that the newer machine will turn out the current volume of output more efficiently. They note the following facts in support of their contention. So here the engineers, they contend that newer machine will produce the same output more efficiently, and they note the following facts in support of their contention. The old machine can be used for 4 more years. The useful life of the old machine is 4 years. It has a current salvage value of 8,000. If it is sold today, its salvage value is 8,000, but if held to the end of its useful life, the old machine would have an estimated final salvage value of 2,000. That if it is held for the next 4 years, the salvage value will be 2,000. And this is the final year that tax depreciation will be taken on the machine, and amount of depreciation is equal to the machine's remaining depreciated book value of 4,520. So these 3 lines they explain कि जो मशीन की मौजूदा बुक वैल्यू है वो है 4,520, लेकिन इसकी सेल प्राइस, इसकी सेल्वेज वैल्यू है 8,000, और इसकी जो डेप्रिसिएशन है फॉर दिस ईयर विल रिड्यूस द बुक वैल्यू इक्वल टू 0. That is, in this year the asset will be depreciated, and for the next 3 years there is no depreciation left. And the next contention is the new advanced billet extrusion machine cost $60,000. Its final salvage value is projected to be $15,000 at the end of its 4 years useful life. और जो नई मशीन जो परचेज की जाएगी उसकी कास्ट है $60,000, उसकी सैलवेज वैल्यू है $15,000 at the end of the useful life of 4 years. The new machine falls into the 3-year property category of MACRS depreciation. That is, we use the same percentage of depreciation for the asset in our previous examples also. So by now I hope you have remembered those percentages. And then the new machine will reduce labor and maintenance usage by 12,000 annually. So this is the cash flow that can be said as the incremental cash flow, because it is a cost saving here, and annual saving is $12,000. The income tax on incremental profit are paid at 40% rate, and the tax rate applied will be 40%. So what we are going to calculate in this problem here, that expected annual incremental cash flows for year 1 through year 4, as well as the estimated initial cash outflows. So again we have to find out the same thing, that is the initial cash outflow, and we have to find the incremental cash flows during the whole useful life of the asset, and then the terminal year's cash flows. That is, at the 4th year, what are the cash flows? First of all, from the incremental cash flows, then the salvage values, any capital gain and the tax on it, and if there is any capital loss, the tax benefit from there, and any working capital will be added back. So we have to find out all these 3 things. So let's start our calculation by the initial cash outflow. So the initial cash outflow, we are going to solve the problem number 4, and first of all we will calculate the initial cash outflow. So it consists of the cost of the asset. Cost is mentioned here as $60,000, and the salvage value at this time is reported to be equal to 8,000, and this will be deducted from the initial cash outflow, because this is a cash inflow. And in this transaction of salvage value, that if the asset is sold for 8,000, its book value kya hai at this moment. So we are concerned with capital gain or capital loss. So as we know, the asset is sold more than the book value, so there is a capital gain here. So what is capital gain here? Is equal to 8,000 minus the book value. It is equal to 4,520. capital gain is equal to $3,480, and tax is applied at the rate of 40%, and this will add up into our net cash outflow. So when we calculate it for this capital gain, that is 3,480 into 40%, we get 1,392. This is a cash outflow. So what is the net cash outflow? The initial cash outflow, this is the cost of the asset, 60,000, minus sale proceeds from the old asset, that is 8,000, plus the tax paid as a capital gain tax, it is 1,392. So the initial cash outflow is $53,392 in this case. And now we are going to calculate the incremental cash flows during the 4 years life of the asset. So in this case, incremental cash flows. So the life of the asset is 4 years. So we have these years, and for each year, what is cost saving? The machine will reduce labor and maintenance usage by 12,000 annually. So in the first step, cost saving, that is 12,000 every year. And we are going to depreciate the asset using 3 years property clause under MACRS, and for that purpose we calculate the depreciation on the asset value of $60,000 into first year 33%. So let's calculate it. Is equal to 19,998, and for the second year, all these calculations will be the same because the asset value, the cost of asset, we have taken the same जैसे हमने previous example में assume किया था. So let's calculate it. For the next year, it will become 44.45%. It's equal to $26,670, and for the third year, the depreciation percentage is 14.81%, and we have a figure of 8886, and if I'm not wrong, the next one is 4446. So here we calculate the net change in the profit before tax. Net change in profit before tax. So we calculated 12,000, the saving, minus a depreciation of 19,998, a negative contribution to the profit, which is 7,998, and the next year again a negative contribution, that is 12,000 minus $26,670, a negative contribution towards the profit, 14,670, and for the third year we have 3,114, and for the final year we have it 7,000 554. For the first 2 years, there is a net contribution towards the profit, a negative contribution. And now let's determine the tax, how much tax will be paid and how much tax shield is available. So the tax will be paid at 40%. Yeah, it is mentioned here the incremental profits are paid at a 40% tax rate. So 40% tax. So here in case of negative figures, there will be a tax shield, that is the increment or the decrease in the asset is reduced. So here we calculate it for a loss of 7,998. A 40% is equal to 3,199, and in the case of a negative figure of 14,670, we have a tax shield of 5,868. So do remember, these are tax shields, we represent them with the negative signs. And in the third place, we have a positive cash impact in the income. So the tax is 1,246, and for final figure of 7,554, we have a tax equal to 3,022. So at next step, we calculate net change in the profit after tax, AT after tax. So we calculate the figures here. So in the first place, the tax shield will reduce our loss 7,998 minus 3,199. It will make it to a loss equal to 4,799. So you see here at step C, जो loss था that was going to contribute toward the final profit, वो था 7,998, but because of tax shield ये loss reduce होके 4,799 रह गया. And accordingly, in the second year, the loss was 14,670, and because of a tax shield here, it has reduced to a loss equal to $8,802. And in the third place, an income of 3,114 minus a tax of 1,246, the after-tax income would become 1,868, and for the fourth year, it will become 4,532. So this is the net change in profit after tax. So now to calculate the cash flow, we add back the depreciation. अब हमने एक मिस्टेक की है ड्यूरिंग दिस कैलकुलेशन. वो मिस्टेक है, वी हैव टू टेक द इंक्रीमेंटल डेप्रिसिएशंस. इनफैक्ट अब इंक्रीमेंटल डेप्रिसिएशन कैसे हमने फाइंड आउट करनी थी कि हमारे पास जो एसेट था जिसको हमने जो प्रीवियस एसेट जिसको रिप्लेस करना है, उसकी जो सैल्वेज वैल्यू है दैट इज 8,000, लेकिन उसकी जो बुक वैल्यू है that is going to become 0 in the first year. It is given as 4,520. तो आपने इसको कैलकुलेट करना है इंक्रीमेंटल डेप्रिसिएशन. सो जो डेप्रिसिएशन जो इंक्रीमेंटल है उसका इम्पैक्ट हमको इंट्रोड्यूस करना पड़ेगा. सो दैट इज 4,520. सो this will reduce our depreciation by 4,520, और उसके रिमेनिंग ईयर्स में जो प्रीवियस एसेट था उसकी डेप्रिसिएशन वाज 0. उसकी यूजफुल लाइफ थी 4 years, लेकिन एट द एंड ऑफ फर्स्ट ईयर उसका बुक वैल्यू जो थी दैट वाज गोइंग टू बिकम 0 और उसकी बुक वैल्यू थी 4520। इसका मतलब है कि उस ईयर में उसकी डेप्रिसिएशन जो है वो है 4520। सो अकॉर्डिंगली वी हैव टू चेंज आवर फिगर्स। सो हियर we have to take the impact of these figures. We call them incremental depreciation. जब हम इस तरह के प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करते हैं तो we do make mistakes like that. So I left that mistake uncorrected कि हम इसको किस तरह से रेक्टिफाई कर सकते हैं, and accordingly हम राइट टाइम पे हम इसको पिक करना पड़ेगा हमें. So we take the impact of these calculations. So the incremental depreciation in the first year would become the depreciation in our new asset minus the depreciation previously reported, that is 4520 in the first year. It will make the incremental depreciation equal to 15,478. Now हमने जो नेट चेंज इन प्रॉफिट कैलकुलेट करनी है दैट इज रिलेटेड विद दिस फिगर. बट अगली कैलकुलेशन में चूंकि जो इंक्रीमेंटल डेप्रिसिएशन है इट इज़ द सेम एज आवर कैलकुलेशंस बिकॉज ऑफ द ज़ीरोज़ इन द सेकंड, थर्ड एंड फोर्थ ईयर, तो हमने पहले साल की जो चेंज है उसमें इसको इंट्रोड्यूस करवाना है, दैट इज़ द इंक्रीमेंटल डेप्रिसिएशन. सो हियर the net change in profit before tax, it will not be equal to 7,998, rather it will become 12,000, that is the cost saving, minus incremental depreciation, that is 15,478. So it gives a negative figure of 3,478. That is the net change in profit before tax. So this negative figure, other figures they will remain the same here, and then a tax shield of 40% will be applied here. So it will become 1,391. So this tax shield will reduce the loss to 3,478, and we have a net loss or net negative figure of 2,087. All other figures they will remain the same because the incremental depreciation has remained same in this case. So we have the net change in profit after tax, and now to get back to our cash flows we come to the next step, that is F, and we add back the depreciation to get the cash flow. So what are the depreciations here? We have to add them back. We add the incremental depreciation. So what is that? In the first year 15,478. Second year it is equal to 26,670. Third year it is 8,886. And fourth year the incremental depreciation is equal to this figure. And now we find the incremental cash flows in our calculation. Incremental cash flows, they would become that when we add these two figures accordingly. So here we have 15,478, we add it back, so we get a cash flow equal to 13,391 in the first year, and then in the second year 26,670 minus 8802, a cash flow equal to 17,868, and at the third place a cash flow equal to 10,000 754, and in the fourth year the cash flow will become 8, 7, 9 and 8. So these are the cash flows, incremental cash flows during this period. Finally, this is all about today's lecture. We did not study anything new here, but only we practiced the problems given at the end of the book. So there is nothing to summarize here. Only thing is that you are advised to solve the remaining one problem, and the problems given other, for example, the self-correction problems, you can solve them by yourself to have more and more practice, because the topic is very much important, and we will keep on building on these concepts in the coming few lectures. And that's all for today. Thank you very much, and hope to see you inshallah in the next lecture.